Welcome to Well Read, a program about a little bit of this and a little bit of that at your Ames Public Library. Our mission here at the Ames Public Library is we connect you to the world of ideas. And we do that by the books that we have on our shelves, whether they're nonfiction or fiction, and they take you places where you've never been before. We do that by connecting you to the people that we have at our programs, and you learn from there. We connect you to the world of ideas by the people that you meet at the library. And we also connect you to the world of ideas by collaborating with outside resources and sources. And in this case, my guest today is Kim, and she happens to be our new executive director for the Raising Readers in Story County. And I say ours
Yes.
because I am part of that board on Raising Readers in Story County. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming and being a part of our program. Now, I'd like to always begin our program with a little bit about the person,
Sure.
because I think that's very interesting in that connecting to the world of ideas. Because what you bring to our community and what you bring to your job and your career is who you are and where you've come from. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I actually grew up and graduated from Nevada High School, just 8 miles east of us. So I'm a Story County girl. So it was great to be back in Ames 3 years ago and then working with all of Story County now in this new position. I'm a UNI graduate, University of Northern Iowa, and then I have my master's in historic preservation from Boston University. I lived in Boston for a few years, and then I moved to St. Paul and lived and worked in the Twin Cities, and then I've been here back in Iowa for about 3 years now.
So the Boston experience, you've spoken at a couple of groups that I've been at about that, and that is very fascinating. Can you just touch on what kind of experience that was?
Yeah, the Boston experience was fantastic, especially coming from small town Iowa and then moving to one of the biggest cities in the United States, one of the oldest American cities in the United States, with all of the history and actually, and this will pertain to this too, the Boston Public Library is one of my favorite places on earth. Just the vast amounts of things they have in that building, both books and art and architecture, and the location is so fantastic. I worked a lot with historic buildings in Boston, and with grants, we granted and offered technical assistance to both buildings and historic houses of worship in the greater Boston area, so we could keep the American history of that community alive.
And you put condos in right?
We did
housing units
in several different places. A lot of Catholic churches were selling their buildings around the time that I lived in Boston, and they were converting them into condominiums so that people could live in churches.
I just find that fascinating.
It's really cool.
But, okay, so I digress. So I can let's come. So now, about 3 years ago, you came to Ames, Iowa, and what brought you here?
I took the position of the executive director of the Campus Town Action Association, which is the business district organization for the Campus Town area, just south of Iowa State University.
Yes, but you didn't just have that position. You also got very involved in the community.
Yes,
so
I did.
You're kind of a connecting thread through many, many different things. And what made you what was that desire?
Well, one of it was we were really trying to get people to notice Campus Town and recognize Campus Town as a legitimate business district in Ames, Iowa. So I went to a lot of meetings and spoke at a lot of meetings and volunteered at a lot of events with Campus Town splashed all over me so that people would see what we were trying to do in Campus Town. And then also I come from a long line of women who can't say no to volunteering. So I volunteer a lot just because it's part of my nature.
and what a wonderful characteristic to have.
Exactly.
So then now let's jump to, what was it, July is when we interviewed, I believe.
Yes.
So what drew you to interview for the Raising Readers Executive Director?
I became aware of Raising Readers in Story County last winter. Actually, I'm part of the Young Leadership Society for United Way, and they, Raising Readers in Story County, presented a program on their dialogic reading, their Story Pals program, at one of our lunches. And just hearing more about the organization and what they do, I wanted to figure out how to be a part of that organization and volunteer. And then spring semester hit, and spring is a very busy time in Campus Town, so I didn't really have a whole lot of extra time to volunteer, but I was still kind of keeping my eye out. So when I saw that the position itself was open, I decided to apply for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when was your effective date then?
August 3rd.
Because you're just a baby.
I'm just 2 months in now.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about some of the surprises you might have experienced in these 2 months that you've learned about what Raising Readers in Story County does as far as its mission and what it does as an offering in our community.
I think one of the things I was most surprised about is how many families are affected by Raising Readers in Story County with free books every year. Just with the Reach Out and Read program alone, Raising Readers gives out almost 10,000 books those are free books that are in the hands of young kids and families in Story County. And it's not just in Ames, it's a Story County program, which is awesome.
And just I'll clarify to our viewers that Reach Out and Read is a national campaign where the pediatrician actually gives a book to the child at the well child checkup. And so we actually start out before Reach Out and Read does as with a baby. When they have the baby at Mary Greeley, the library provides a book to put in their hands that the Raising Readers volunteers deliver. And then at the 6-month visit, they that's when the Reach Out and Read actually begins. But Raising Readers also has put something in between that.
They have.
The 2-month
checkup.
At
the 2-month checkup, by 2 months, pediatricians say that babies can see contrast color, and the Raising Readers in Story County has put together a little booklet that you can, with a poster in it, that you can hang above your baby's crib or their changing table with nursery rhymes, so that you can talk to your baby while you're changing their diaper or putting them to bed or sing them nursery rhymes. Something that the doctors were discovering was that parents would get the book when they were newborns, but they wouldn't get another book until 6 months. So parents weren't reading to them before 6 months, so they wanted to make sure that conversation and that talking was starting early.
6 months is a very long time in the life of a baby.
Exactly.
At that time.
Exactly.
So, and then that also has a pamphlet of information about what you should be reading and why you should be reading, and so it's on the focus of literacy. And believe it or not, I mean, I know in my background in history of children's librarianship, it's been very interesting to find parents. Not all parents think that children are taking anything in as a baby. They wait until, well, even back in the very beginning of my career, it was when they reached school. That was when they were being taught. They were just experiencing life before then. That nothing was being learned at that time. So how wrong we were. But we, thank goodness, we've got research and MRIs and PET scans and all that kind of stuff that are reinforcing this new information. Or so reading aloud is very, very important. And again, that's what Raising Readers is promoting a lot. So beginning to give all those books out, and sometimes it's really sad to hear that those are the only books some of our families have. And we had a hole at the United Way Golf for Kids Day this summer. I think it was either my first or second week here, so I was still learning everything myself, and I had our Raising Readers t-shirt on, and I had information at the Whole Night 17, I think is where I was, and almost every golf cart that came to that place said, "Oh, we have books covered in stickers from Raising Readers in Story County." So these were all families that were directly affected by Raising Readers in Story County, and they were seeing us out there. And so that's something that I think was another thing that surprised me when I started and I shouldn't have, but how many people in this county are aware of Raising Readers in Story County and are fans of Raising Readers in Story County. We have a lot of support in the communities, both county and in the individual communities. Well, and lots of support and lots of gifts that Raising Readers in Story County has given in return. So the gifts that they're giving to the community members, to our community children. I always describe Raising Readers as, libraries in the community are very important entities too, but we can't do it all. And Raising Readers is like the frosting. And the sprinkles all over, and that every county in the whole in the whole United States or around the world.
Yeah,
let's think really big.
That's
maybe
right.
in the universe.
Maybe give me a couple more months before that.
There we go. Well, we have big expectations
That's right.
for you. I have big expectations. So the Reach Out and Read is one of many programs that Raising Readers does. So you mentioned Story Pals.
Yes.
So
Story Pals is a little bit dialogic reading. We go into the classroom at Northwood Preschool in Ames and at Central Elementary in Nevada and work directly with the preschoolers in those schools to engage them in dialogic reading, which is more conversations back and forth between the children and they don't really call them tutors when you're working with preschoolers, but the adult friend reader that they're with. So a lot of picture books and what's happening and here and what do you see here and why do you think that's happening, and they go through special training so they know how to properly have a dialogic reading, have a dialogue with the preschooler, and it's just a great way to start introducing books as well.
And it is a form of tutoring in a preschool sort of way with a picture book. So, and again, it's challenging that child, talking with the child so they can engage in that conversation and work those parts of the brain that needs to be connecting at this age too. So let's jump to the tutoring because we actually do some tutoring as well.
We do tutoring. We do summer enrichment tutoring to help with the the brain drain during the summer so that kids can either maintain or increase their readings and literacy skills over the summer. And we have partnered with the library on the Harrison Barnes Reading Academy, which is another
very exciting,
very cool program. Another thing, and I'll talk about a couple of things that we partner with the library on, but that's definitely one of the things we partner with the library on, and getting kids to be excited about reading. And Harrison Barnes comes to town every once in a while. He was here this summer.
And we actually had pizza with them. I actually had a slice of pizza with Harrison Barnes and have a picture. And,
that's right.
And most importantly, though, the boys and girls that were part of the tutoring group got to have their picture. They were given a book that he signed. So they were able to choose a book from our library summer reading program books, and he signed it for them. So a great treasure that these young people will have for the rest of their life, in addition to the reading successes that they will have. So tutoring is very important.
Tutoring is very important. And we do work in the ACPC, the Ames Community Preschool Center, during the school year with more tutoring as well with some of our older kids as we get them ready to transition to kindergarten in the next couple of years.
And then we had a successful program, Raising Readers in Story County had a successful program, the Super K, speaking of kindergarten. Tell us a little bit about that.
So this summer was a pilot for a transition to kindergarten program that they called Super K this year. So the object was that the kids would become super learners and super listeners and get kids prepped for the kindergarten classroom. And ideally, we'll really be working on having kids that have no preschool experience. As we move the program forward this year, we had a mix of kids who had been in preschool and kids who hadn't been in preschool, but every parent that we talked to said how impactful the program was. It was a 2-week program. It was a 3-hour program. So we had a morning group and an afternoon group. So we had 22 kiddos go through the Super K program, and they learned things that you wouldn't think you would need to know before kindergarten, but kindergarten teachers would love for kids to be coming to kindergarten knowing, like how to properly get in line, how to stand quietly in line, how to walk quietly through hallways, how to open a milk carton, how to carry your lunch tray, how to dispose of the things that you didn't eat or your trash on your lunch tray, how to move from station to station, how to be in a big group setting and transition to small group settings, and how to sit quietly and listen while there's story time going on, and all sorts of things like that. And
there's
it was
lots
a great
of adults
program.
that don't know how to do
There
that.
are a lot of adults that don't know how to do that.
We could have training with that too.
Transition to adulthood.
Yeah. So these, you said it was a pilot program, so I know we're still thinking about whether or not we will be implementing it again next year, but what I read on our website, which any of you can read on our website. And Kim, could you share our website?
Yeah, I would love to share our website.
Okay.
It's raising-readers.org. So raising-readers.org.
And on that website is a wealth of information.
Yes, there
I mean,
is.
you could spend all day, several days,
Yes.
looking at it, anywhere from the learning what dialogic reading is, to what books for babies are, to Reach Out and Read, to the Super K testimonials of parents.
And we also have book suggestions. So if you are looking to, which you can also come to the library for, to get
Both
fantastic
places,
book recommendations for your kids. We have our recommendations broken down by the Reach Out and Read levels as well. So if you really like the book you got that at your 9-month Reach Out, your 9-month appointment with your Reach Out and Read book, you can go online and see what other books are great for 9 months old.
So again, just like you as an adult that likes to read whatever author it is, and you want to find a read-alike, you can find a read-alike for your child as well. So it goes the whole span, the whole gamut.
It does, and we're really, one of the things that, as you know, Raising Readers in Story County is really working on now is parent engagement to get parents to read to their children more, because it's fine to get a free book and take it home, but if no one is reading that book to your kiddo, it's not really being that useful. So that's really a focus in the next few years, is to really get that parent engagement involved and get families to read to their kiddos.
And I know we have Raising Readers in Story County has a collaborative work, Phi Gamma.
Pi Beta Phi.
Pi Beta, yeah,
Yes.
sorry. Has given us some money to do kind of a research type of grant with Iowa State.
With Iowa State.
County Beecher.
So that is there are multiple things going on in the next few years with the parent engagement, and the Lena device is one of the parts of this program, but it will. We have a family literacy coordinator, educator, and she will be doing parent education and engagement using our Thrive by 5 curriculum, and then we will be working with parents to make sure that they're still keeping up the conversations and the dialogue with their little ones while they're at home. And the families who participate in this, the babies will be wearing special vests that have recorders that don't track what you're saying, but track how many words you're saying, and so that we can see if the level of talking and communication between parent and baby is increased through the curriculum, or if it stays the same. And
because again, vocabulary is developed from these conversations that you have with your child, and research has shown that if you talking mothers, when it first came out, talking mothers increase child's vocabulary. That was the headlines.
Wonderful.
Susan Newman's research came out, because I get to live through all this.
Yeah,
I read that first article when it was written. And so, when you have conversations with your child, and in all, the types of words that you use too. So if they're commands versus an engaging conversation, it's a different type of word than it is if you are having that engaging conversation. So there's different qualities of positive experiences for that child as well that develops that vocabulary, which vocabulary is also a direct correlation with how well one reads as well, because if you don't know the words that you're reading or sounding out, it doesn't do a whole lot of, you just kind of skim over that and pretend that you do what you do, and it's not necessarily beneficial.
Right.
So. And
you can always be talking to your baby, and you can talk to your belly before the baby is here. And so start getting words and conversations going as early as possible.
That rhythm and talking with and singing with and playing with and writing with and are all very important parts of what a parent already is doing. I think that's sometimes a very important piece to say too, that I think sometimes parents think, oh, it's just another thing I have to do. When in fact, when you're driving in the car, you can be singing a song or pointing to the different signs and saying, looking at that print awareness. And so it isn't necessarily another thing you have to do. It's just while you're doing something, participate in that engagement. So what else would you like to tell us about Raising Readers?
I would like to talk a little bit about our Step into Storybooks partnership with the Ames Public Library.
And what is Step into Storybooks? I don't remember what that was.
Well, I feel like this is definitely the part of the conversation that you should be giving the most information on. I haven't been here for one yet. But it's a fantastic collaboration that we have with, there are 2 Step into Storybooks programs that Raising Readers in Story County is involved in. The first one, and the longest one, is with Ames and the Ames Public Library and the Ames Rotary. Ames Morning Rotary. And then last year, they also started a partnership with Eastern Story County Libraries and held the first East Story County Step into Storybooks in Nevada at Central Elementary. So, and I'll let you talk more about it, but from what I understand and from what I've learned in the last 2 months, it's a great morning of families coming and just getting enmeshed in stories and learning and having activities.
And how we originally, as being part of one of the co-founders of this program, not that I know anything about it, what we wanted to do was to bring storybooks alive. So each station has a storybook associated with it. And there's activities that parents can come and do along with the child. So I'll pick one of my favorites. Bob the Builder is obviously a very a character lots of boys and girls identify with and want to do with. So they actually get to be Bob the Builder and pound and use real nails and real hammers and real wood and put those all together, and they can spend as little at that station, a little time, or as much time as they want. So you could literally go just to like 3 stations and not do the rest of it, depending on how much time you spend with each station. So we had a tea party last year and playing waitress or playing menu, so you passed out taking orders and playing restaurant, I guess it would be, and then eating at the table and creative play. So all those things that you can do at home, but again, moms and dads may not, there's always so much pressure to buy that newest toy that's on TV or that's being marketed, that you can take a box and they can have a lot more fun with a box and more creative time with that box. And so just trying to promote that and how it associates with books. So we had about 20 stations here in the library, about 3,000 people in the library in that 3 hours. So very much enjoyed by all. And Nevada had a great time. They partnered with their Kiwanis group. And I don't know how many stations they had, but they had...
I think they had 12 to 15, if I remember correctly.
They had a nice facility for people to move around into. So, and we, on both programs, we are already talking about our next one that's in April.
Exactly.
So it's not something that we plan a couple of weeks before. It's a year-long process. Once the one is over, we're talking and thinking about what next year's is all about. So it's a great program, and it's a great collaboration of people, because it is Raising Readers in Story County and the Ames Public Library and the Ames Morning Rotary that kind of takes it forward. But there are a tremendous number of volunteers and other organizations like ACPC and First National Bank and that help, and Ames Noon Rotary that put it together to make it successful. So it is not one group at all. It's the combination of all of those places. So it is.
I'm excited.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, of course. I'm excited to be a part of it this year.
It is. Well, we're excited to have you here. So, and with that said, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, because your background isn't specifically in reading or literacy or children or child development, you must have experienced some surprises too, in addition to Raising Readers, the passion that everybody has for Raising Readers. Is there anything else that kind of is an aha moment that, wow, I didn't realize that?
I think something that about the organization itself is how much has been accomplished over the last 15 years solely on the backs of a volunteer board of directors. The fact that you have over 15 strong well-known programs, and only less than a year, because there was a part-time executive director before me,
Right.
that you've had this much involvement in the community and this much success with no staff, and then just recently staff is it's awesome. And it just is a testament to how passionate everyone on that board is about childhood literacy and about the organization.
And the variety, what's always has surprised me, I mean, it's kind of my job kind of like puts it together.
Right.
But these people are not necessarily, you know, well, it's just because you're this person that is happening.
Right.
They are very passionate about their
are.
community, about
Yep.
their children of our community, and about literacy and making the world a better place.
Exactly.
And very passionate and motivated and ready to change the world. And they are changing the world.
They are.
And I can tell you also that our little 6 months of having a part-time director gave us a little bit of that wonderfulness of having someone help us out. That's why it became a full-time and that's why you're here.
Yes.
So
Yep.
we're looking very forward to working with you. The library is, and
Yes.
as a board member of the Raising Readers, I'm very excited about what is to come.
Yeah.
And you, as a community member, should also be very excited about what is to come. So keep looking for that Raising Readers in Story County and the Ames Public Library collaboration, and that Raising Readers in Story County, what they're doing in the community with the other libraries and with the other communities to make our world a better place, and to literally help those children learn how to read and love reading, not just read, but love to read, and to make the world a better place. So until next time, thank you for watching.